Kanibasami. At an All Japan Championship, Hirotoshi Watanabe attempts Kanibasami on Yamashita.
Okay, so the Kanibasami, you can see that it's been around forever from that really old judo footage, that judo match, and here's a demonstration in Sambo, and here's a freestyle wrestling submission comp, and here we have an EBI match with Gary Tonin, just literally shooting in and finishing with an inside heel hook, which he's done in a bunch of different competitions as well. So most of the time you usually see this done from a collar tie. Here's another example of that. The right collar tie, shoots in and gets a scissor leg takedown, and he's in the saddle finishing with an inside heel hook. But it can also be set up as well as a defense of when your partner is actually grabbing a single leg with their head on the inside. And you'll see that example right here. So you notice a guy with the rash guard on, the purple rash guard, is eventually going to go for a single leg. So a little bit of hand fighting. He gets rid of the collar tie, shoots in, he's got a good single leg. The guy without the shirt, there we go, hand on the mat, and then going for his Kanibasami or scissor leg takedown, whatever you like to call it, and working into a leg lock, look like he was going for an inside heel hook. And here's another example as well of a freestyle wrestling match, sweeping the legs out and eventually getting the pin. So a lot was happening right there, so let's reverse that and let's break it down, go a little bit slower. So a lot of snap downs, goes for an ankle pick or low single leg, does a little flip off his hands and perfectly timed to sweep the legs out and finish basically in a side control on top. Okay, so here we have a very famous match of Ro Chonin versus Anderson Silva. Scissor leg takedown from Ro Chonin, finishing with an inside heel hook. Let's look at that one more time from a different angle. The old school Pride days, basically in a 50-50 with his leg reaping. He had also gone for this later on down the track in another MMA match of his, but very close to the inside heel hook, which I don't think he was successful with anyway. And here we have Rachel Ostovich with a beautiful scissor leg takedown. As her opponent was going for the single leg, you saw her base out with a free hand and nicely timed to trip her opponent backwards and look for that dominant top control. So here we have Joe Lozon. He was quite successful from setting this one up. He would usually shoot in with his leg on the inside and finish in a saddle position. He did it there in both attempts from an overhook. And here we have one from Al Quinta, a successful single leg defense against Kevin Lee in the UFC. And here's when it doesn't work. So you can see the big distance there. As he set up that inside leg kick, he wasn't close enough to clinch. And then from there, just moving out. But the good thing was he struggled to get back to his feet. And I just threw these ones in for fun. Here we have Kung Lee doing a jumping, spinning, scissor leg takedown. Pretty epic. And how nicely timed is this? Straight after the knee, perfect angle to jump up and sweep his opponent's legs out. And I had to throw these in. Word of warning, if you're a little bit squeamish, maybe you should look away for the next couple of examples. So this is when it doesn't go to plan. Oh, see the guy's knee go? It's basically the same as jumping guard. If you don't know how to do it properly, you can destroy your opponent's knees. Same thing with this one, a judo match. So you've got to be very, very wary of this if you are shooting in. So they can just dive in and then you can destroy your own leg. And let's just watch that one more time. Listen to the sound of that. And definitely a word of warning with this one. This is probably by far the worst one. This is a freestyle wrestling comp and it's done from an overhook. I'm going to go over a couple of different ways of how to set it up a safe way if you're new to this technique before you just dive in and damage your opponent's or your training partner's legs. And we're going to do some setups from the collar tie, from the single leg, and then also some defenses as well. So the safe ways of how to do it with your partner without destroying their knees.